Welcome to the teaser trailer for Healers Helping Healers for the circle that will be starting on March 19th, hopefully, at 4 p.m. Central Time, so mark your calendars. This is a place for any person who considers himself a healer to seek support in a community setting. It'll be held online, and I will talk a little bit more about the group and its tenets as we go through this today. This hopefully will be a short presentation. So a little bit about me. My name is Clara. I'm non-binary and I go by they, them. I've been in the mental health field as a counselor for the past 7 years. I've also incorporated animal-assisted therapies into my mental health work, especially equine-assisted therapy, and I've seen really incredible results from that, and I'm so excited about the emerging and growing field of animal-assisted therapies. Huge advocate for the equine in particular. In my own life, I've started to transition the idea of animal-assisted work into helping people with their pets, hence Companion Animal Collective in my new business. So I do offer one-on-one coaching, me and you, well, one-on-one, me, you, and your pet. If you're struggling with some problem behaviors or behaviors that are challenging for you, basic training stuff with dogs, cats, or horses, I can help you with that as well. But here for Healers Helping Healers, a lot of my ideas and insight that brought me into creating this came from my own experience. So I've dealt with a lot of burnout, compassion fatigue, and vicarious trauma as a mental health provider, especially post-2020. And I believe that there's not enough spaces out there for people to really feel like they can let their guard down and just come into community with other people who are healers and really work through some of the overwhelming things that we face as healers, whether we're medical professionals, mental health professionals, or veterinarians, or tarot card readers. We all deal with some pretty heavy stuff as healers. And I also am always working on decolonizing my relationship or trying to take the colonial mindset that we've all grown up with in the society and reframing that, especially in relationship with people, plants, animals, and overall nature in general, pretty much everything. And I am really blessed to have worked with incredible mentors who have guided me towards decolonizing practices in my life. And I can talk a little bit more about kind of decolonizing and what that means as we move towards the group. So that's a little nutshell about me. Nature will be my guide in this group, and it will also be the guide for all of us. I think nature is a great touch point for everybody because we all experience it. It's good for our mental health overall, broadly, and it's something that we all have and share within us. It's the thing that unites us all. Nature, we are nature, and we're also in nature, and we also have ecosystems around us that are naturally occurring. So we can think about nature from a micro perspective or a macro perspective or in between. And this group, I really want to kind of be a microcosm or a small version of an ecosystem. So we're going to use a lot of language around nature as we talk and work through our own boundaries and our healing and what we need to do to take care of ourselves as healers in an ecosystem, if that makes sense. There's a difference between surviving and thriving. Thriving takes an ecosystem. Surviving is very individualistic. We can do both, but I think thriving feels better. And again, by going to the more macro and looking at the ecosystem, we need to understand and start to think about and process some of these systems that are harmful to humans, to nature, that cause harm. I talked about decolonizing my own mind and my practices. There will be some conversation about, what are some harmful things that cause harm perpetually as a system itself within healing, what we call healing practices, right? So things like racism or things like, anti-LGBT rhetoric and beliefs. We've also siloed ourselves away from nature, especially since the Industrial Revolution and beyond. And we are very much looking at screens a lot of the time, and that's not good for our overall well-being. We are becoming more isolated. And so although this will be through a screen, I'm hoping that we can do a lot of grounding practices and do things that will bring us back to nature, back to our own bodies, and develop our own ecosystem in this group so we can thrive. 50% of healthcare workers or healers in general are facing burnout at this moment. I think the number's probably higher than that. We're also facing a lot of compassion fatigue and vicarious trauma. And there's just not enough space to talk about that in an honest and authentic way where we can put all of our walls down or some of our walls down and just be open and honest about that. So I hope this is a space where we can talk about that. The idea is that it will start on March 19th. If we have enough people signed up, it'll be 1 hour long for each group. Online, of course, and there will be a screening process just to make sure you're a good fit. And we'll meet weekly, starting the 19th, every Sunday at 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. Bottom line is self-care is not enough, and so I'm hoping that this group will teach us a little bit more about what community care can look like and how we can find community care in our own communities or in nature or with our pets or with animals or with any other being, because we can't just take care of ourselves. We're not supposed to just take care of ourselves. We have to be in community to really thrive. Some of the components of the circle, what might be embodiment practices or coming back to the body. What does our body feel like? What does our body want? Learning the wisdom of the body. There's a lot of research around somatics or somatic experiencing, or listening to the body for answers and wisdom. Our body, again, is part of nature. And so the best way to come back to nature is to come back to the body. practicing our boundaries, practicing no and yes, identifying our capacity mentally, physically, spiritually for healing, and whether we feel like we can be of healing to someone in a moment or not, taking away a bunch of skills and resources. And then the biggest thing I want to teach is more of a teaching part here, is that support is different than caregiving. If you want to learn more about that, you can go to my blog. I will have a link in the description of this video where you can read about the difference in my mind between support and caregiving. And this is going to be a support group, not a caregiving group. So we're not going to take care of each other's problems. We're just going to be of support, and that's going to look different. So go check that out. That's on my blog. A group obviously has to be well contained, has to have confidentiality so people feel safe. We'll have to address maybe some harm. Harm can happen intentionally or not. So if there's harm, meaning, you said something that rubbed someone the wrong way, how do we repair that? And how do we kind of move forward with that? Nature is not always peaceful, right? Nature has moments of big disruptions and small little, scuffles. So we are thinking of nature both as, our guide and kind of what we're rooting ourselves in. And as we think more about what nature is, it's not always gentle and peaceful. So it's learning how to coexist in kind of a chaotic way, but in an orderly way, where we can know how to repair something emotionally if we've caused harm, even unintentionally. Or we can say, hey, that what you just said made sense, but that one thing that you said there really didn't feel good. And we can address that. And I hope you can take that to your healthcare work and learn to really advocate for yourself and say, hey, that didn't feel good in my body, or hey, I didn't like how you said that, and look to repair things instead of just, breaking away from relationships. Or if we have to break away, that's one thing. But, working really on repair. Repair is so important. This is not a therapy group. This is a mostly just a support group. Again, if you want to read about support and what I mean by that, you can read my blog. If you have any questions, please reach out to me via email, info@companionanimalcollective.com, or you can DM me on Instagram, Companion Animal Collective, all one word. I hope to see you in the group. I'm really looking forward to getting some folks signed up. I have a couple people who are interested, but I'd love to have some more people join. So if you would love to join me or thinking of joining, please do. I think it's going to be a great experience, and I really think you're going to take a lot out of this. And I've really curated it in a very mindful way, so I hope you will consider it. Have a lovely day, and take good care of yourself and your community.